welcome back. Akshay Patra, the largest NGO-run school meal program in the world that serves over 1.4 million children daily in over 10,770 schools from 24 kitchens in 10 states in India, raised $500,000 during its annual fundraising gala at the Westin Hotel in Waltham, Massachusetts. Let's take a look. The Akshay Patra annual benefit event held at the Westin in Waltham, Massachusetts had over 400 guests from around the region who came to attend and support the organization's dual mission of addressing childhood hunger and malnutrition and advancing education for underprivileged children in India. Chairman of Akshay Patra USA, Mr. Deshpande, welcomed everyone at the event and thanked them for their constant support for the organization and the work that it does.
The other thing I like about this evening is just its simplicity and connection to these children, because it's all about bringing hope to these millions of children and in turn bringing hope and joy to our own lives.
Today's topic for the Akshay Patra Gala is all about sports and philanthropy. Curious to know, how do you think the synergy is between the two topics?
Well, for one thing, philanthropy depends on money and contribution. Sports generates a lot of revenue, a lot of money. What's going to happen with that? What portion of that will go back into society, back into the world where all those fans live to improve it, and back into the world where so many of the athletes come from? Many of our greatest athletes are not from rich backgrounds. When you think about philanthropy, you think about building a healthy society, a great society. If we're going to do that, sports and many other industries, but sports in a particular way, has a responsibility to reach out and think about the health of the whole community and keep it strong.
Emily, many congratulations, a wonderful event in place. Tell me, Akshay Patra has a new theme this year that you're going to focus on.
We do. Our theme is about feeding children's dreams, because we're not only feeding the children nutritionally, there's 1.4 million of them every day getting a meal. By having them come to school and be able to stay in school, we're feeding their dreams. They have hopes and dreams that can only be accomplished when they're at school.
At this year's Boston Gala of Akshay Patra, a panel discussion was held on sports and philanthropy. For the panel discussion, invited were ESPN Sports Center anchor Kevin Negandhi and Linda Henry, the director of the Red Sox Foundation and the Liverpool Football Club Foundation. Tom Ashbrook, award-winning host of On Point on NPR and WBUR Boston, acted as the moderator for the panel discussion.
You know, the funny thing is, when you were telling this story about you 40 years ago, in demand to help deliver this baby.
Ridiculous, but there it was.
Well, an Indian thinking that, hey, somebody who's American can help me. While we look at 40 years now, and the majority of hospitals, there are Indian men and women delivering white babies.
Yes, all over the place. Probably my own kids. Of course. Many here tonight.
I thought of that. I thought, wow,
should be
4 decades later, and the big reason why is because of education. Because of that dream that's still there. The American dream, a lot of it has been out there in debates. It's still alive. It very much is. It's all in our homes. And we experience that on a daily basis.
What's your sense, I know you can't speak for everyone, but what's your sense of how much Indian Americans think, well, I hear now, I've done my hard work, I've got my medical degree or started my business or found my niche in America, I've made my affluence or even fortune, and India's not my problem anymore? Or are people looking back and remembering all of that?
They can't forget it. They can't forget it. It's part of our DNA. There's a big reason why when you go to an Indian house here in America, they have direct TV and a satellite, because they're getting TV Asia, they're getting all this stuff from India is still here. So we're setting up a pipeline here, establishing our names, but also giving back directly. And I think we experience that in our household every single day. When we go home, we live in America. I experienced this as a young kid. I lived in the American classroom. There was nobody who was Indian in my school except me and another kid and his younger brother.
Yeah.
So I was American. But then when I'd walk through the door, I was Indian. I had the Indian customs
to follow. Walk through the door of home.
Yes.
Sure.
The customs to follow with my parents, respectfully, and I understood it. And understanding that balance. So I was very lucky that they took me back to India 4 times by the time I was 13, so I could understand fully that you have to go back. You have to continue to give back.
These kitchens that they've set up, they're marvels of modern technology and sort of modern management. Peter Drucker would look at them and say, yes, that's the right stuff. How have you come around to looking at philanthropy in that way?
With this particular organization, the fact that it has a very singular purpose, feeding children in schools, and it has not wavered from that. There's such temptation because there's so many other issues, right? There's so many other things that you want to do. But to have the discipline to focus on this one thing and then to grow it, to not being satisfied with 5 schools, which most of us here would be pretty proud of ourselves if we did something that reached 5 schools.
Sure, you could write about that.
Absolutely.
For years. 5, and now we're talking 10,000 plus.
To serve 1 million kids every day and to say again, still not be satisfied is really remarkable. But to me, it's that laser focus on doing one thing, doing it well enough, and scaling it.
Tell me, what got you interested in Akshay Patra?
Desh is an incredible person, and I had the honor of serving on a board with him and meeting him and learning how he thinks and how he's just constantly challenging to think bigger, do more, have more of an impact. That inspired me to learn more about what he was creating.
And what do you see is the synergy between sports and philanthropy, which is your topic tonight?
I think that sports is an incredible way of convening people. And with sports teams, we have an ability to reach children especially and men in different ways. And so we've been able to do things. We did this great program with the Red Sox called the Home Base Program that reached out to veterans. And the reason why that it was effective is because our players could talk to other men and say, you know what, it's okay to get help. It's okay to acknowledge PTSD and acknowledge invisible war. So it's an audience building.
We're here with Kevin Negandhi. He's the first Indian-American sports anchor to be on national TV. Kevin, thank you so much. You're the joy and pride for the Indian community.
It's my pleasure being here.
Thank you for joining us. So tell me, very interesting topic tonight, sports and philanthropy. Where do you see the synergy between the two?
I think the one thing you can get from sports is confidence and the laying down the foundation of, hey, to get better, you have to practice. When you do well, you're going to get a pat on the back. And then you can bring that in the classroom because when you're involved in a sport, you're also a part of a team. And there's a support group there. If you want to succeed, you have to help others as well. Same way when you're inside a classroom, you build that confidence doing homework. Same way with the practice and understanding that you're working with classmates to get a project done. And to me, that's the basis here, and that's what we're talking about tonight.
There was a beautiful dance performance after the panel discussion that entertained the audience.
Many congratulations. What a lovely event. What an amazing panel that you've put together for tonight's gala. So tell me, what are the main goals that you're looking for Akshay Patra USA and as well as Akshay Patra India?
You know, Akshay Patra already does an amazing thing of feeding 1.5 million children every day. But there's 100 million children who need this food. And so we're hoping that we can scale our program to 5 million children by 2020 and then somehow find a way to influence all the 100 million children, because once you show the best practice, everybody would know what to expect and have the way to implement it. And so that's the goal for what we want to do in India.
The Times of India